Welcome everybody. Great that people came back from the Hamilton March. Good to see everybody. I'm Sam Gindin. I'm with the Greater Toronto Workers' Assembly, and I'm also part of the Labour Committee of the Assembly that's sponsoring this event. I'm going to say a few words of introduction in terms of about the Assembly and about this event. And then we're going to have a panel of 4 speakers. They'll each speak for about 12 minutes. And then we'll have time for questions. So let me just start by saying a few words about the Assembly and what was the rationale behind it. One of the things that became really clear with this crisis was the extent of the defeat of the left. How deep that defeat was. At a moment in time when we should have been on the offensive, we were on the defensive again with even more threats. And the point wasn't that there isn't a lot of terrific organizing going on. There's all kinds of organizing going on in the city. The problem was that what we were doing just didn't match what we were up against. And so we thought that we were facing a historical question, which was, did we need a new form of working class organization to supplement what already exists? And there were 3 or 4 elements to this that we emphasized. One was that it had to be based on class, that we're talking about a working class organization and defining class broadly to include the unionized and the non-unionized, the fully employed and the precariously employed, the unemployed and the chronically unemployed and the poor. So it had to be based on class. The second thing is that we wanted to have an activist organization. We wanted to do things. And the third thing was that the more they kept telling us that a middle road policies were just not possible anymore, that all kinds of things weren't practical anymore, what they were really telling us was what was becoming practical was to be more radical. To become more radical and actually challenge the logic of capitalism is what had become practical. And we didn't just want to form a coalition of what exists in the city, because we thought that the problem was that we needed a new layer of politics, and we needed to develop new skills, not just put together what we had. So just before I go on to this actual forum, I just want to urge people to seriously take a look at our statement and think about joining the Assembly. We really need to build something if we're going to fight back. This particular conference was based on the idea that the strategic question is going to be around the public service cutbacks and what's happening to the unions in the public sector, which is so important because the private sector unions are really on their knees, and the public sector is the last bastion of trade unionism. If they can destroy that, we really are all in shit. So with that focus, one of the things I think was really important to us is that it isn't just a question of how do we fight back in the short term and how do we build something for the longer term, but that we had to put the two together. That if we weren't thinking about the longer term, if we weren't building new kinds of capacities, we wouldn't be able to win the small battles. That we had to think big just to win the small battles. So the panel tonight, it's got a wide range of people who've had different kinds of working class experiences. I'll introduce them all, and then they'll make their presentations. What we're trying to get from them is some sober assessment of where things are at, tell us something about their experiences that they think are important to pass on, and start moving us towards strategizing. What we really want to come out of tomorrow is with some actual strategizing, not just having another event, not just having another conference, but having a sense that we're moving, that we have some sense of where we're going next, and we're going to start building.